Good grades?
Yeah, there's basically two criteria. One is you have to be academically qualified. The other is need. You need the money. If you're rich, it's hard to get a scholarship. So they will want to know about your family's financial situation. I don't know what the international process is, but in the United States, your parents actually submit their tax forms, the form that they file their income tax on, so that they know, so that the school knows how much money you have. But two things: need and academic qualifications. And actually, I left out a third, and it was the question that I had just asked before you raised your hand, and it's sports. If you were a brilliant athlete, there might be money available to you as well. There are very few cricket scholarships in the United States. We don't play them. But if you're a good swimmer, volleyball player, basketball. And another thing you should know, since this is a mixed group, is that by law, by U.S. federal law, colleges and universities in the United States, where sports are very important, are legally obliged to spend as much money on men's sports as on women's sports. That's the law. It's a law that's only fairly new, and so that changed everything, because the big sports at universities typically have been men's sports, and they're expensive, like football. So if they have to spend as much money on football as they do on women's sports, they end up with just one sport for men, football, and then 90 sports for women, which is pretty cool. So do not neglect your athletic careers. Yes, it's really hard to get athletic scholarships. It's much easier to get academic scholarships, because it just is. The competition for athletic scholarships is very high. On the other hand, we don't have that many good footballers in the United States, so if you're a good footballer, we might be able to use you someplace. So, but yeah.
Academics, since Joanna mentioned about the IGCSE grades and A-level grades, is it okay if they have this 3 to 4 A? I mean, how many A's do they need to have? Which would,
I can't answer that. I really don't know.
That's what the major questions are. How many A's should we have to get a scholarship?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe they
ask these people. They will be experts.
Right.
Yeah.
Do Pakistan studies and
no, they wouldn't know. Basically, they're asking about the compulsory subjects over here. Would they count towards the maximum? I mean, the number of subjects covered in the IGCSE exams and A-levels. Again, you wouldn't be doing that.
No. That's more detail than after my own.
Are the hostels and student apartments easy to find?
Yes. Often the university, I mean, there are 4,000 of them. It's a lot. The university will be a major economic force in the community. It will not be, unless you're in a place like New York City. Typically, the university defines the town that it's in. Often the town was built around the university in some rural cases. So there are all kinds of services in that economic community to support students. And yes, there will be people who expect to rent out rooms or apartments to students every year. But as I say, in most cases, you will be going into student housing that's set aside by the university for you as students. Often they have, in bigger universities, a special dormitory, a special place for international students. So you'd be on a floor with Africans and Latin Americans and Europeans, and it would be really fun. That's usually one of the most exciting places. That's sometimes at the graduate level, sometimes at undergraduate level, they'll just mix in everybody with everybody else. But yeah, you live in a dorm, you'll get roommates, share a bathroom, sometimes you have a kitchen, sometimes you don't. Depends, but the housing is usually very nice. It's important to understand that in the United States, higher education is an industry, and it's a competitive industry. Those 4,000 institutions, even though they're nonprofits, are competing against each other for you, for students. And so they try to have features that nobody else has. So everybody has wireless internet in the dormitories now. It's just expected, it's standard. But they compete on the quality of the food that's served in the cafeteria. They compete on, the sports facilities and the gyms that they have. It's a competition, and they need customers. So that's how it works. Yeah. There was another question.
A couple of things.
Yeah.
For the
How to apply for student visa and how long does it will take?
Well, I only know what I saw on the slides that we looked at, and I've never actually been through the process myself, but it said you start the visa process after you've been accepted, and you have 4 months at that time. So it has to take less than 4 months. But I wouldn't put it off. As soon as you get your approval, your acceptance at some university, and you've decided that's where you want to go, I would start the process right then. Don't wait.
And you have to have I-20 form. That's university will send you an I-20 form once you get accepted in that university. If you don't have that, you can't apply for your visa.
Only can they apply after the A levels, or can they apply? Can it's a conditional offer letter like if you see university 7 times?
You can apply, but university
But
won't give
there's a
you
big time lag in
acceptance.
between after the A levels and the offer letter would come.
Actually, it differs with the universities, with the institutions.
Yes.
Some universities and
But
institutions
maybe
does
not to
offer
send a
conditional
offer
year.
letter.
They accept conditional. They wait till your results are shown.
When the A level
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you can apply for visa in that condition.
That I know. You apply for visa, then you have this unconditional offer letter as well.
That form called I-20.
Quite a lot of universities in US they provide distance learning. Is it worth it?
That's a good question. Is it worth it? It often, to me, a big part of the university experience is actually meeting other people your own age and studying things and working hard together. And so that's something you lose as a distance student. You lose that international experience. On the other hand, those courses, at good universities are just as good as sitting in a classroom in terms of your academic credential. If you wanted to do it now, at your age, take a distance learning class and get grades and established, and you will pay a lot of money for those courses. They're not cheap. But then you could put that in your transcript, and that might give you an advantage in terms of getting accepted. When I was a student in high school, your age, I was studying at a local college as well, taking courses, and so that helped. And that's not that unusual either. When I say it's expensive, one of the ways that colleges charge for their tuition is by the credit. So a typical course, the standard course that people take, if you're taking an English course or history course or a science course, is 3 credits. And you'll generally take 5 courses a semester for a half year. So that would mean 15 credits per semester. 2 semesters would be 30 credits, 4 years would be 120 credits. So 120 credits between 0 and getting your degree. Okay? So if you're taking a distance learning class, they're going to charge you by credit. And so typically you could be looking at something in the range of $2,000, $1,000 to $2,000 for a distance learning class. That's real money. That's serious money. And you won't be able to get financial aid for that from here.